On the night of my graduation, while every parent in the auditorium cheered for their kids, my own father leaned in and whispered, "Sophia, you are nothing but a mistake." My name is Sophia Carter, and that night, my heart shattered. But I made myself a promise. One day, the same man who humiliated me in front of everyone would crawl back, begging for my help. And when that day came, I would decide whether his mistake was even worth saving. The auditorium in Columbus, Ohio was alive with cheers, flashing cameras, and parents screaming their kids' names with pride. My brother, Ethan Carter, walked first. His name was called, and the crowd erupted. Dad jumped up, clapping furiously. "That's my boy." Mom wiped tears of joy. Ethan was the golden child, the perfect son. Then came my turn. Sophia Carter. I held my diploma tight, walking across the stage, searching for their eyes. Mom smiled faintly, clapping politely. But Dad? He didn't even stand. His arms were crossed, his face cold. As I passed his row, he leaned close enough for only me to hear. "You're nothing but a mistake, Sophia." The world seemed to stop. My ears rang. I forced myself to keep walking, but inside, I was breaking. Outside, Ethan was showered with hugs, photos, and praise. Dad had his arm proudly around him, introducing him to everyone like a superstar. And me? I stood alone, invisible. Not one person asked for a picture. Not even a congratulations. On the way home, Dad tossed Ethan the car keys. "Drive us home, son. You've earned it." I sat in silence in the back seat, staring out the window, trying not to cry. That night, I locked myself in my room and clutched my diploma to my chest. His words, "You're nothing but a mistake," kept echoing. I cried until I could barely breathe, and then I made a vow. If I'm a mistake, Dad, then one day, I'll become the mistake you'll regret ignoring. One day, you'll beg for the daughter you threw away. And from that moment, my revenge truly began. The next morning, Sophia woke up with swollen eyes from crying all night. She looked at herself in the mirror, whispering, "No more tears, Sophia. You're stronger than this. If they think they've broken me, they're wrong." She tied her messy brown hair into a bun, threw on her old college hoodie, and opened her laptop. For hours, she searched legal aid, housing rights, women's shelters, and even revenge forums. Every click fueled the fire inside her. She wasn't going to be just another victim tossed aside by selfish parents. By noon, she had made up her mind. She dialed a number she hadn't called in years, her late aunt's lawyer, Mr. Randall. Her aunt had once promised Sophia something in her will, but Sophia had been too young to care back then. Now that promise could be her weapon. "Mr. Randall? This is Sophia Hart. You handled my Aunt Linda's estate years ago. Can we meet? I think my parents may have hidden something from me." The lawyer's surprised but kind voice replied, "Of course, Sophia. Come to my office tomorrow morning. I think it's time you learned the full truth." Sophia's heart pounded. The full truth? What had her parents kept from her? That night, Sophia stayed at her best friend Emily's apartment. Emily was the only person who hadn't judged her when everything fell apart. Over Chinese takeout, Emily listened quietly as Sophia spilled everything. "They stole my college fund, Emily. Every penny I saved from my part-time job's gone. And now they've kicked me out like trash." Emily's eyes burned with anger. "Then it's time to hit back. Hard. You're not just going to survive this, Sophia. You're going to make them regret underestimating you." For the first time in days, Sophia smiled. The next morning at Randall's law office, Sophia sat nervously across from the older man. He slid a file across the desk. "Your Aunt Linda left you a trust fund, Sophia. It was meant to be released to you when you turned 21. But your parents claimed guardianship and redirected it. They shouldn't have been able to touch it, but they found a loophole." Sophia's hands shook as she flipped through the documents. Thousands of dollars, money that could have changed her entire life, was stolen from her. Randall leaned forward. "If you want, we can challenge this in court. It won't be easy, but the evidence is here. Your parents committed fraud." Sophia's blood boiled. Her parents hadn't just betrayed her emotionally, they had robbed her future. "I want to fight," she said firmly. "I want every stolen sent back." Randall nodded. "Then brace yourself. This will get ugly." The following weeks were a whirlwind. Court filings, evidence gathering, late-night strategy calls. Sophia worked part-time to cover rent at Emily's place, but every free hour went into preparing for the case. Meanwhile, her parents carried on with their perfect suburban lives, parading her younger sister Madison's dream school, acceptance on social media, acting like nothing had happened. But cracks began to show. Anonymous tips started leaking online, financial inconsistencies, whispers of tax fraud, Madison's expensive tuition payments being questioned. Sophia hadn't leaked anything yet, but she had ideas. One evening, Emily found Sophia scribbling in a notebook. "What's that?" Emily asked. "Every dirty little secret I remember about them. Dad's hidden gambling debts. Mom's fake charity donations. Madison's plagiarism at school. One by one, I'll use these to destroy their reputation." Emily smirked. "That's my girl. Quiet storms don't change the world, Sophia. But a calculated hurricane? That does." Sophia's eyes darkened. She wasn't just fighting for money anymore. She was planning a total takedown. The court date finally arrives. Sophia walks into the courthouse, wearing a sharp black blazer, her head held high. Across the room, her parents glare at her, confident she won't win. But Sophia knows something they don't. She has one final piece of evidence that will shatter them completely. That night, Sophia sat alone in Emily's apartment, the glow of her laptop screen reflecting in her determined eyes. Outside, the city buzzed with life, but Sophia's world was quiet, focused. She opened a folder labeled Evidence, screenshots, bank records, recordings, and documents she had carefully collected. Each file was a piece of the puzzle, proof of her parents' lies. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. She was about to do something that would forever change the Hart family name. The headline she typed was bold and merciless. "Behind closed doors, the truth about Robert and Diane Hart." For hours, she wrote. Every cruel word they had thrown at her, every cent they had stolen, every manipulation they had spun, she turned it all into a story backed by undeniable proof. And at the end, she signed it with only 3 words. "From your daughter." Then, with a single breath, she pressed post. By dawn, the internet was on fire. News outlets picked it up instantly. Neighbors were glued to their phones, reading the scandal in shock. Local couple exposed for fraud and betrayal. Parents steal from daughter, charity scam uncovered. The Hart family's perfect reputation was shredded in hours. At the Hart residence, chaos erupted. Reporters crowded their driveway. Neighbors whispered and pointed. Madison slammed her bedroom door after seeing her name trending online for plagiarism. Robert shouted at Diane, his face red with panic, while Diane cried and begged reporters to leave. Their once pristine suburban home now looked like a crime scene under siege. Meanwhile, Sophia sat at a small cafe downtown, watching it unfold on her phone with Emily by her side. Emily smirked. "They wanted to make you invisible, Sophia. Now the whole world sees them for what they really are." Sophia stirred her coffee slowly. "Good. I didn't just want revenge. I wanted justice. And this is only the beginning." In court that afternoon, the judge reviewed the fresh evidence. Bank fraud, tax evasion, stolen trust funds. Everything Sophia had laid bare was now official. Robert and Diane Hart, the judge declared, voice echoing in the packed room. "You are hereby found guilty of fraudulent misappropriation of funds. All stolen money will be restored to Sophia Hart, along with damages. This court will forward evidence of tax fraud and gambling debts to federal authorities." The gavel slammed down. Robert's face went pale. Diane broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. Madison sat frozen, her phone slipping from her hand. But Sophia, she stood tall, her expression calm, almost serene. Outside the courthouse, microphones were shoved in her face. "Miss Hart, do you consider this justice or revenge? Do you have anything to say to your parents right now?" Sophia looked directly into the cameras. Her voice was steady, her words cutting like a blade. They thought they could steal my future and silence me. But all they did was reveal who they truly are. I didn't destroy them, they destroyed themselves. The crowd erupted in murmurs. Reporters scribbled furiously. Sophia simply walked away, Emily at her side, leaving behind the broken ruins of the Hart family. That evening, on Emily's balcony, Sophia watched the city, lights glitter in the distance. For the first time in years, she felt free. Her phone buzzed constantly with messages, support from strangers, encouragement from other survivors who said her courage had inspired them. Emily raised a glass of wine to the girl who turned pain into power. Sophia clinked glasses with her. A small but confident smile formed on her lips. To new beginnings, she whispered. The betrayal had scarred her, yes. But she had risen from it stronger, smarter, unstoppable. And as the night sky stretched above her, Sophia knew one thing with absolute certainty. This was not the end of her story. It was the start of a new one.